All right, welcome to Chapter 6, and this time we're heading backstage. We've looked at all the main financial statements, but now we ask, how do we make sense of those numbers? Where's the context? Where are the assumptions, the risks, the methods? The answer is in the notes. This chapter is all about how the notes turn the financial statements from numbers into knowledge. Here's what we're aiming for in this session. First, we want to understand the role and structure of the notes, where they fit in and how they should be organized. Then we'll look at what has to be disclosed, from policies to risks to estimates. And finally, we'll explore why the notes are essential for users and how they unlock the true meaning behind the numbers. Let's go straight to ias 1.1.12. It tells us exactly why the notes exist. They serve three key purposes. 1. To provide information required by IFRS that isn't shown elsewhere in the statements. 2. To help users understand the numbers and what they represent. 3. To disclose key judgments on estimates and big policies. So users know what lies behind the figures. In short, the notes turn financial statements from data into insight. So what's actually in the notes? Here are some of the most common elements. The company's accounting policies, measurement bases like historical cost or fair value, judgments and estimates made by management, detailed breakdowns of the mainline items, disclosures about related party transactions, contingent liabilities, and any changes in accounting treatment. This isn't filler content. This is the where, how, and why behind every big number on the front page. Now, IS1 doesn't just say write some notes, it also gives us a logical structure. A good set of notes will follow this order. 1, first a statement confirming compliance with IFRS 2, then the basis of preparation. 3, followed by the significant accounting policies. 4, next judgments and key estimates. 5, then detailed explanations of individual line items. 6, and finally any other disclosures needed for fair presentation. Also, IAS1 strongly encourages our cross-referencing. Help the reader connect the notes to the financials. Don't make them go hunting for info. One of the most important parts of the notes, accounting policies. But here's the thing, don't just copy-paste a textbook. The policies need to be material to your entity, written in your own words for your own transactions, and fully aligned with how you actually apply IFRS in practice. For example, revenue recognition under IFRS 15, lease accounting under IFRS 16, financial instruments under IFRS 9. This isn't about theory, it's about showing users how the numbers were generated. Let's talk about one of the most human parts of accounting, judgments and estimates. A judgment is when management has to choose between two or more acceptable options. For example, is this contract a lease or just a service? An estimate is when you have uncertainty about the future. Like, how long will this machine last? What's the fair value of this investment? IAS 1 says you must disclose both. Explain what the judgment or estimate was, what assumptions you used, and if relevant, how sensitive the outcome is to changes. This is about transparency and user trust. Now let's touch on some of the most sensitive and highly used disclosure areas. These include revenue. How is it recognized? What are the sources? What's the timing? Leases. What are the right-of-use assets and lease liabilities? What's their maturity profile? Financial instruments. How are they valued? What risks do they carry? How are they managed? Taxes. Deferred taxes. Reconciliation of tax rates. Contingencies. What legal claims or obligations might arise? Related parties. Who are they and what transactions took place? These areas often carry judgment, complexity, or risk, and users rely on the notes to understand them clearly. Let me say this clearly. Financial statements without good notes are just numbers. But with the notes, those numbers become a story. The notes are a communication tool. They connect users with management's thinking, a transparency channel. They reveal assumptions and uncertainties, and a decision support system, helping investors, lenders, and others make better calls. So, never treat the notes like an afterthought. They're where the meaning lives. Here's what we've learned in this chapter. The notes are a core part of the financial statements, not an appendix. They explain the policies, judgments, and estimates behind the numbers. They give users the context they need to interpret and trust the financials. Without the notes, users are flying blind, and IFRS is all about clarity, transparency, and trust. So if the front page is the what, the notes are the why, and both are essential.